Good evening, everyone in YouTube world. I am Tartan Rose. This is my plaid pad, and this is my Saturday session. I'm on my own today, so I hope you enjoy what you're hearing. I have been hearing a lot of things from a lot of people and a whole lot of places. Considering what has been going on in the past few weeks, things have gotten, well, I think it's a little to say it's gotten out of hand is putting it lightly. In actuality, things are so screwed up. It's AFU. And let us not make that situation normal. Because this is wrong on every level. But there's a whole bunch of people out there making a whole lot of noise who shouldn't be making any noise. They don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it. And it makes no sense at all. But there's a bigger group of people. We are the silent majority. We're the ones who are sitting in our homes, going to work, coming home. Even in this time of quarantine, many of us have essential jobs that have to be done. Some of us are just looking to get back to work and do what we have to do. Earn money, raise our families properly, and make a good life for ourselves. That's the silent majority. We've been watching everything going on, and we are tired. Sick and tired. And right now, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now I have a document here that I printed out. I found it online, so I am not the author, but I am going to use it with a few of my own edits. And it pretty much states a lot of what I am trying to say on behalf of the silent majority. And I do hope somebody out there will follow suit and just tell the world how sick and tired they are. I used to think I was just a regular person, but I was born into a white two-parent household, which now labels me as privileged, racist, and responsible for slavery. Really? I'm a fiscal conservative. That means I try to save money everywhere I possibly can. Which, by today's standards, makes me a fascist, because I plan and I budget. But now I find out I didn't earn any of that, because I was advantaged. I am a heterosexual, which, according to some folks, makes me a homophobe. I don't judge others. I just don't believe you have to keep throwing it in my face and demand that I like you the way you are. I end my shows with the phrase, I'll be me, you be you. It's just easier that way. Now, I don't go running around telling people you can't be this way. You have to be this way. So don't run around telling me I have to be. Because I don't have to be. I don't have to be anything other than what I am right now, which is me, this person right here, talking to you. So, that does not make me a homophobe just because I don't want to date you. I happen to have a husband. And I'm monogamous. Imagine that in this day and age. Moving on. I'm not a Muslim, which now labels me an infidel. For any of you who don't understand that, that goes under the heading of, if you're not with us, you're against us. So if you're not a Muslim, you're an infidel. Look it up. I believe in the Second Amendment, which makes me a threat to liberals, and I get labeled part of a militia. I'm not part of a militia, I'm part of my home. And I like keeping it safe, and I like keeping my possessions that I paid for in my home. Because, after all, they're my possessions. And I believe in keeping my life in this body, at least until it's taken away by natural causes. And a bullet and being beaten to death are not natural causes, people. Let's face facts. This is a good one. I'm older than 40, much, making me a useless person with outdated ideas and values. Let me tell you this one, kiddies. My outdated ideas and values kept the country going for quite a long time. Before I got here and after I leave it. Those ideas and values will still be in this country. You cannot wipe those from the face of the earth. All of this outrage that these people feel is manufactured. They run around screaming and hollering and throwing things in your face, but they can't tell you why. When you explain things to them or tell them things, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear any argument against it. It's disgusting. It's not. These are people who will not listen, cannot listen. And it's saddening. I think, and I reason, and I doubt much of what the mainstream media tells me. I think, and I reason, and I doubt much of what a lot of people say. Check your logic. Hush. What the mainstream media tells me, which makes me a right-wing conspiracy nut. Well, let me give you something here. There's a lot of people who are right and left who are just close enough to center to not believe what the mainstream media is telling them. People are starting to doubt everything they're being told. It's just not right. Because there's just so much garbage in what they're saying. It's all made. It's like anything the president does. If he agrees with something they say, then all of a sudden it was wrong. If he's wrong, he's wrong. If he tells them they were right, they are wrong. No, that was wrong. He said something, and it's like, oh my word. You people are crazy. I am proud of my heritage and our inclusive American culture. This country was considered the great melting pot because we took in people from other countries and other cultures during the mass immigration into this country. And we blended them all together. They all became part of who we are. That's the way we were. That's the way we have been. But as of recently, yes, we are a little paranoid. Let's consider things. People were killed. Thousands of people were killed back in the beginning of this century. And people are forgetting that. But we're still allowing them all in. Let's do it. And because I believe that maybe for a while we should close the borders, check people who want to come into this country, try and make it safer for people in this country, I'm considered a xenophobe. And because I do some things that are outside of my own culture, I am a cultural appropriator. Now, that's what I mean by the great melting pot. I can cook food that wasn't initially cooked by my own ancestors. I can say things that weren't said by my ancestors. I can wear clothes that weren't worn by my ancestors, just like everyone else can. Everyone in this country is wearing some type of clothing that was not created by their culture. Do some research. You'll find out. I believe in hard work and fair play and fair compensation according to each individual's. Today makes me the target of socialists and Antifa. Excuse me. Because I think people should work for what they earn. Because people should be hired on their merit or fired on their lack of merit. If you can do the job, then you should get hired. If you can't do the job, then why am I hiring you? Hiring a person strictly because of their skin color or their gender identity means nothing. If you can't do the job, you shouldn't get the job. If you are unwilling to be trained for the job, why did you apply in the first place? I believe our system guarantees freedom of effort. That means you can try, you can do. Not freedom of outcome or subsidies, which must make me a borderline sociopath. Yeah, well, I'm not going to go that far. But if you put in the effort, then you would feel better about having earned it. To take from what someone else has done, it doesn't equal out. From what I see, the middle class is working all kind of jobs. And they are supporting the poor and they are supporting the rich. But they, because they have a job, can't get any kind of support. So they're struggling to get by. And the rest of you, well, you're just living off of it. I believe if you earned it, you get to keep it. Silly me. I believe in a strong defense and protection of America for and by all citizens. Now that makes me a militant. Isn't that weird? You all are willing to pick up arms and weapons and go up against your own people. American citizens. Believe it or not, folks, All you screaming memes out there, that's what you are. You are still American citizens, believe it. And you're willing to take up arms against your fellow citizens. Now, this may bring up, because if this doesn't stop, it may call for the military to have to be called up. Because there is a line to protect this country from all adversaries, for all enemies, foreign and domestic. That means we defend our own, even in this country. So you want to go take up arms? Go enlist. Go enlist. I've seen a lot of people putting out there that they should bring back the draft. That means young men, and I think young women too, over the age of 18, once you reach 18, should have to register for enlistment. Should it become necessary, you shall be called up. Now, you don't like it? Terribly sorry about that. But you all seem to have all this pent-up energy that you're running around and using now to do what you're doing. Well, look at it this way. If you get called into the military, all that pent-up anger and frustration can be used against an enemy force. And you get paid for it. Look, you got a job. I am proud of our flag and what it stands for, and the many people who died to let it fly. So I stand and salute during our national anthem. So I must be a racist. Nope, I'm not a racist. I'm just a patriot. I believe in this country. I think the Confederate monuments around our country symbolize history. So I'm labeled as having hate in my heart from some who are all of a sudden offended by their presence. This never bothered any of you while you were growing up. Not one of you. You didn't think about it. You didn't look at it. But all of a sudden, you have all this righteous rage inside your body. And all of a sudden, we have to rewrite history because it bothers you. I find this to be despicable. It's history, folks. It's happened. It's carved in stone. It is in the ether. It cannot be changed. It's like putting things on the internet. Once it's there, it ain't never coming off. I'm labeled a racist when I'm thinking that erasing the history will potentially cause us to repeat the problem. History repeats itself because no one listens the first time, which is why tearing down those monuments and not listening in class tends to, make people stupid. You don't learn from the past, so you're going to repeat it. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. And perhaps you should just take a look at it. Study it. Learn. I think the riots and destruction of property around our country are wrong. Completely and absolutely wrong. And it's just an excuse for a whole bunch of people to push their political agenda. So that makes me a racist. Well, look at it this way. The Democrats are allowing you to do what you do. They're running around pushing you, telling you, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to feel this way. And in the meantime, what are the Democratic representatives doing? What have they been doing since Trump got into office? They've been stamping their feet, crying and screaming like babies. Like babies. Because they didn't get their way. Because somebody is going to make them behave. So they're not going to behave. They're going to do everything they want to do, and they're going to make you do it. They're going to make you go out into the countryside and do their bidding. That's another reason you should study history. Because the wars during the medieval era were usually one ruler was pissed off by another ruler. So instead of the two of them fighting it out, dueling, or however, they would round up every person they could find, throw a sword in their hand, and throw them out onto the battlefield. And the one who came out with the least number of warriors, well, you were the loser. That's what you're doing for the Democrats. You are being the forces they gather up who can be thrown down by the wayside, who can be tossed away because they don't care. They honestly do not care. They stay safe in their DC apartments or in their grand multi-acre mansions. And they only come out when it suits them, when it's convenient for them, when they can make a photo op out of it or get a news story out of it. They don't care. Not a damn thing. And if you think I'm kidding, try and find out where their money came from, where they can afford these multi-million-dollar mansions. You don't get that on state salary. I support the police in general. I was brought up to respect the police. That they save lives, they help keep us safe, and they get between us and the bad guys. But that makes me a racist. Because the cops shoot black people. Well, the cops shoot everybody. You know how to keep from getting shot by the cops? Don't shoot them first. It's as simple as that. You don't shoot, they don't shoot. You don't hit them, they don't hit you. Now, I am not going to say all. I am going to say not all are evil. Okay? That not all phrase works for them as much as it does for you. For every single one of you, when you stand there and say, not all, not all. Well, when it comes to the police, not all. Okay? Think on that one. I choose to deal with the COVID-19 coronavirus. Yes, YouTube, I said it out loud. In my own way. I personally wear a mask when I go out. Not while I'm driving, but when I go out, when I go to the stores, when I go to a doctor's appointment. I do some of my appointments on the computer. When I have to go anywhere, I'm wearing a mask because I don't want to catch it. And if I have it, I don't want to share it. And I believe at the moment that this whole thing is being used for political gain. Because everybody is saying Trump is responsible. How the hell did that happen? It didn't. It didn't. For any of this. He's not a doctor. He's listening to what's being told to him by Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci is a nitwit. Dr. Fauci, back in 2005, knew about a vaccine that would help, or a drug rather, that would help people. Because coronavirus is actually a lot older than this. It was called human coronavirus. You know how I know? You pick up any sanitizing wipes, any cleaning sanitizing wipes, and you read what it kills. You will find the phrase human coronavirus. So when this became a whole big pandemic, Dr. Fauci knew what would work. And he told it to the president. And now the president says it, and all of a sudden, ha ha, he's an idiot. Ha, you don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, go ahead. Laugh your heads off. But Dr. Fauci back in 2005 said chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine works. In 2005, I'm going to keep pushing that point because that's 14 years ago he said this. All right? He said it. But now, hey, and because I wear a mask just to protect myself and others, I'm a sheeple. I am not a sheeple, people. I'm an independent thinking human being. I act on my own. I am given opinions, I am given logic, and I am told things that will and will not help, or things that people think will and will not help. I also happen to know that keeping healthy, eating healthy, keeping healthy, that helps. Taking care of myself. Not running around in large groups of people. It's helping. It's just like if there's another flu, just any other flu virus. Just try not to go in and amongst too many other people. If they find a shot for it, take the shot. But you anti-vaxxers, hey, you go ahead and you do your thing. Just one question. Will you leave me your stereo system when you die? Yeah, I said that. Liberals have tried to make me feel bad about who I am. Yeah. If they don't want anybody feeling good about themselves, you have to feel bad about yourself. You have to feel bad about everything you're doing because what you're doing is wrong. Prove it. I live my life as I always have. I was born, I'm living, and I'll die when it's my time. Don't tell me how to live it. The only person who can tell me how to live my life is my doctor. And my doctor doesn't care about your politics. Technically, I don't care about your politics either. And based on everything that I've said, some of them want me to believe that I am a bad person. Simply because, for the basic reason that I am me. A heterosexual white female. I am married. I am not Muslim. I eat meat. I think my way. I act my way. I do what I want to do. But because I don't do what the liberals tell me I have to do, or what the left tells me I have to do, I'm wrong. I'm a bad human being. If that's the case, so be it. I'm a bad girl. And guess what? No, I'm not. I'm just a person who loves life, who lives by my own rules. I love my own personal deities, my family, and my country. Now, the reason I use the term my personal deities, you believe what you want. Believe how you believe. Whether you're Christian, Islam, Hebrew, Buddhist, Taoist, Hindu, whatever. I'm a witch. It means I'm one of a group called pagans. I believe in a polytheistic religion, earth-based polytheistic religion. It means I have multiple gods. So it's what I do. And people will freak out. But I love my country. And I believe in my country. I have for quite a while. I will not give up on it. But some of you people are making me give up on you. And that makes me sad. Because you are the future of this country. Now, this kind of mayhem and terror that you are spreading throughout this country, is this the kind of place that you want for your children? Now, I don't care that your parents didn't give you enough attention, and these people who are telling you to go out there, break and destroy and riot, they're giving you attention. No, they're not. No, they're not. You're like a little wind-up toy that breaks everything. They wind you up, they point you in a direction, and they leave you alone. Now, I'm sorry you feel that now you have something to do, something to live for. Go back to college. Go back to high school. Get your diploma. Get a degree. Go back to a program where you can learn a job. Get a job. Find one. Start a job. Start your own business. What you're doing now is tearing down this country. You're destroying things for no reason other than for the Democratic Party to get their way. Well, let me tell you something. Everything that's going on is not the fault of Donald Trump. He just happened to get elected into office. This is from every Democrat who didn't want him in. And this goes back to the prior president. That's when all this started, was before he came into office. Before the election started. This is disgraceful. This is completely and utterly disgraceful of this country. And I think I will agree that some things do need to be changed. I will not argue that point. But there are some things I disagree with. There's a lot of them. And I think we need to change them, but destroying this country, just literally destroying this country, does no one any good. It doesn't do anything. It just means that everything has to be rebuilt. And all you're doing is making people angry at you. They're not going to change what they're doing. They're just going to get angry at you for doing what you're doing because you're not making any sense. It's crazy. It is ultimately crazy. I can keep calling it crazy until I'm blue in the face. But I am right. You're all following somebody who's leading you around, sort of like a Pied Piper. And it's disheartening. It's definitely disheartening to see what's happening. I believe in this country. I believed in this country. I still believe in it. It's just so very I really want things to be peaceful. I want to see that this country has an actual future. I want to see that people are better than I think they are. And I know they can be. I know some of you are just angry. There are those who are righteously angry. And I can understand that. I can get behind it. But I just don't see this as being the right way. It's like a child throwing a temper tantrum, which is, I've said it before. It's a temper tantrum. Like the little kid in the candy aisle at the grocery store, laying on the floor, screaming and hollering because mommy or daddy won't get them the candy. And what do the parents do? They stand there and wait until you're done.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Ladies and
I'm glad
gentlemen.
you're having me on.
Ladies and gentlemen, check your logic.
Hello,
that's
everyone.
That's him, not me. Okay. So you've been listening in.
Yes.
Any ideas and thoughts?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed everything from the whole rioting to the Confederate statues to the Second Amendment to saying not all cops are bad.
It's like I said, the silent majority is getting sick and tired of it all, and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right,
So there it is.
understandably so.
I think it's time we started speaking up and making ourselves heard.
Yes,
Otherwise, it's useless.
yes,
And we can't let this go on. Can't let it continue.
yeah.
And your thoughts?
It's just, I mean, if you listen to Monkey in the Morning, it's said a couple times that this is most likely happening because it's an election year, and just listing all the things that could possibly make Donald Trump look as bad as he's being portrayed. That's, I guess, in a way, it's sort of a division being created through division, if that makes any sense.
Um, they're trying to divide the country. I understand that. They're claiming he's doing it, but he's not doing it. All he's doing is being the president. That's all he's doing. It's it's like I said, he's just doing his presidential job. But it's all the
Right.
Democrats who are saying he's dividing this country. And it's like the one kid at school that nobody likes. He can't do anything right. If he looks at somebody, or he does something right, and they're like, oh, well, that's not right. All of a sudden, they change the rules.
Yes. They keep changing the rules. That's all they've been doing since before he was even elected.
Yeah, I remember the Hillary ads. She was mudslinging his name before. She was slinging mud at his name before he had even said he was running.
Has
So
she?
you knew she was running scared because she was doing that. She thought he was the only one who could take her out, and lo and behold, he was.
Yeah, it's funny how that always. It's always weird looking back at the 2016 election because of just everything that played out, how social media played more of a role in it this time than in the 2012 election. The whole popular vote versus the electoral college vote, and just a bunch of other factors.
It social media is now the biggest thing. That's the way everybody is connected by it, and that's how everybody is communicating with each other.
Right.
And it's becoming a lot like, I hate to say this, but social media is becoming a lot like the news networks, the mass media. They are only telling you one side of the story unless you manage to get somehow under their radar. Then you can if you get under their radar, you can have your little chats and things like that. But if you are out there in the open, you better edit yourself. And I have gotten tired of that. You still here? Logic?
Yeah, sorry, it's just I have to
Okay.
mute sometimes.
But you agree that sometimes it's the mass media, the
Oh,
social
definitely.
media is getting to be a lot like the mass media. They're going to edit you.
Like, take you out of context.
Yes, completely.
Yeah, they definitely do that. The immediate example that I thought of was the whole Donald Trump said you should inject bleach.
He never said that. But hey, and they're going to be screaming about it.
I posted a comment earlier. I think it was one of my first comments. It was something like,
Well, your very first comment was a "Don't say that out loud."
sorry. It was, if you
Yes,
even question what they tell you, it's a right-wing conspiracy.
yes. You can't question anything. They're right. They're always right. They're 100% right. I haven't seen them be right in years.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything they said be right since 2016. Actually, since before Obama. And that's a very long time. Because he could do no wrong. And now Trump can do no right because he's not a Democrat. He's not doing what they tell him to do. He's an independent thinker. And to me, I always thought a businessman should be in charge of the country. I think the first thing he should have done actually was bring in an entire legion of accountants and forensic accountants to go over the books for the government and for everyone in the government. If you're earning millions and millions of dollars, it's not from your paycheck, guess what? You're going to get you're getting a pay cut. I would love to see that. One of the biggest things I would like to see is all of these representatives, these senators, congressmen, whoever, I would like to see them be put on the clock. You clock in and out every day. You get paid only for the time you are there, for the hours you work. You are not paid for around the clock. You don't get gas money. You don't get living expenses. You pay for your own health care. You pay for everything. Just like the average U.S. citizen. And then watch how fast the minimum wage goes up.
Inflation.
Well, yeah, it's going to be inflation. It's spiraling inflation. But they're not going to be happy with it because someone's taking away their privilege. Well, why should they have privilege over everybody else? It's like none of them are working that hard that anybody can see. All they have to do is say, yes, I agree with you. No, I don't agree with you. And this is why. Because I don't like you. It's like paying the kids to be in daycare. So it's crazy.
Very.
It's very difficult to reason things out.
A lot of things I don't even say just because they won't listen, or that I'll be dismissed as a conspiracy theorist.
I'd say it anyway. I'm saying things before that I really didn't want to say, but now it's time to grow a backbone and start talking. Because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Hence the title of the stream.
Yep, because I am. This is all, everything that this country is going through right now. It is unnecessary. It is unnecessary for this country to be going through this. Now, I will grant you what happened to George Floyd should never have happened.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate that it did.
And so many people agree that it shouldn't have happened. Yet, once the riots came, that's when the division was. That's when you found a lot of the division. Like how some people supported the riots and others, they were against it, and they were labeled as racist for being against it.
Because rioting does nothing.
Yeah.
It proves nothing. It just shows people that you're angry and you don't know how to vent that anger properly. Now, it's one thing to go protesting through the streets, to talk to people, to get your point across. Looting, burning, destroying an entire city because you're pissed? I'm sorry. That don't fly with me. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. If rioting did solve problems, then the Los Angeles riots in 1992 would have solved everything.
Well, not solved everything. It just would have solved one little problem at the time. But even then.
And that wasn't even because of a murder.
People have short-term memories in some cases. It's unfortunate but true. Some people have long memories and they know these things. Other people, they have to keep looking things up to be reminded. It's just what happens.
Yes.
And it makes no sense. You cannot get people's attention if all you're doing is screaming and hollering. No one will listen to you.
Right.
No one wants to hear all the screaming and hollering, so they shut down and they won't listen to you. You have to talk. You have to speak to them. Just don't give them a reasonable argument. Give them a logical explanation of why you're annoyed, of what's going on, of the reason that you're angry. Tell them you want reform. Don't run around screaming, defund the police. It makes no sense.
Yeah, they even say that defund the police doesn't mean what we think it means. And it'd be a lot more helpful for us to hear why they think so if they didn't just chant it at different cities.
They're running around screaming it. They're painting Black Lives Matter all over the place. Now, I don't disagree with it. Okay? Yes, Black lives do matter. But if you're going to keep screaming that, then maybe, just maybe, You should be certain that all Black lives are being preserved and that your own people aren't dying, because it makes no sense. How many children, Black children, have died because of this, because of all this going on? Too many. One is too many. And this is disturbing. If Black lives matter, then all Black lives should matter, not just someone who was killed by the cops. Not because that's when they do all their rioting, is when someone gets killed by the cops, and that's not it. It's not enough. You have to be willing to take care of your own and take care of others. And then you can turn around and say, well, and it's disparaging. You can call this hate speech all you want. I don't care. I speak it fluently. Because hate speech is nothing more than saying something that somebody doesn't want to hear. And if that's the case, then every single thing every one of these Democrats has been saying is hate speech to me, and it should be shut down. I want it stopped. Somebody argued with me, that's hate speech. Shut it down.
And
They're
with
saying
that, when it's not hate speech, it's dog whistles.
Yes. Yes. It just doesn't make sense to me. None of this is making sense. I like it when things are neat and orderly and make sense. But this doesn't. It's just like mass hysteria. It's like it's like 10 kindergarten classes hopped up on pixie sticks and then let run loose. It's crazy. And nobody is going to listen, because all it is a lot of stomping your feet. And if there's all these contradictions going on because children are dying, because other Black people are dying at the hands of Black people, how can you stand there and tell me Black lives matter if they don't matter to you?
Black lives only matter when they want it to matter.
When it's convenient for them, or when it's somebody who was killed by the cops. That's the only time. And isn't that just a little sad? It is to me. Because they don't understand what they're saying. That's the way I feel. They don't actually understand what it is they're saying. A Black person dies at the hands of a white person, and they're going to scream Black Lives Matter. A Black person dies at the hands of another Black person. Nope. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And that's despicable. It's absolutely despicable.
The whole Black on Black crime is said to be a white nationalist counter-argument.
It's a counter-argument, but it's not a white nationalist counter-argument. It's logic, it's facts, it's reasoning. The only reason they call it a white nationalist counter-argument is because they have no counter-argument themselves. And okay, Kiever Dam, yeah. A black cop was doing the killing. But that's, you know, that happens. If some white kid gets killed, oh well, he deserved it. Really? Tell me about it. It makes no sense.
Sometimes they don't even mention the race of the cop, like Philander Castile was killed by a Hispanic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just a fact that a cop killed somebody. In most cases, they don't want to have to do it. In some cases, like George Floyd, that guy was an idiot. I will flat out say this guy was an idiot and should not have done it. As far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't have been out on the streets. But they needed somebody to be on the streets. But that's neither here nor there argument because it's a moot point now. This is going too far. This is going above and beyond where it should have gone. This is not making your point. Painting it all over the streets is not making your point. It's just annoying people. And there's just a whole lot of other things. Like when all this identity politics started up, it was okay, it's like you do you. Just don't tell me I have to be you. Don't tell me I have to do the exact same thing. I don't have to be you. I don't have to be like you. I don't have to like you. I just have to not be against you. I could not like you. I just won't say anything about it. It doesn't matter. You be you and be happy being you. It's like dealing with vegans sometimes. They are not happy being who they are. They have to make you feel like crap for being who you are. It's like, nuh-uh. If you're not happy being who you are, don't be you. Figure out who you actually are. But don't tell me I have to be. It's like I said before. The only person who has the right to tell me who I have to be is me and my doctor. And that's because my doctor can say the only other thing you can be is dead. So those are the only people I will listen to.
Yes.
Any other thoughts on the matter?
Sorry, I had to step out for a second. I kind of need to be reminded of. Is it still talking about the riots and stuff?
Basically, whatever is pissing people off. The identity politics, the riots, the crime waves, all of it. Any opinions on any of it?
Just that even saying that everything is so chaotic and divided is such an understatement.
Well, yeah. It's actually it's not that much of an understatement because chaos is a pretty big statement. To me there is no other word to match chaotic because it's just people are running around destroying things, trying to hurt people, trying to start riots. It makes no sense at all. It's just hateful and hurtful.
Right.
So, you have any thoughts on any of this?
Just that rioting and burning down cities and buildings is not gonna bring back George Floyd or any other black person killed by a cop.
No, it will not. And are they soothed by this? Is it
What?
giving anyone closure by doing this?
Essentially, no.
Then it doesn't need to be done. It serves no genuine purpose. Except for the people who are looting places. It gets you all the stuff you want. Or those poor people shoplifting bread so that they can feed their families.
What is it with them and bread?
There was an AOC thing.
Yeah, I know, but why did she specifically mention bread?
Because she didn't know exactly what was being stolen. She didn't know. It made people sound more. It made people feel more sympathetic that somebody had to steal a loaf of bread to feed their family. It's like, yeah, somebody's gonna feed their kids a 55-inch flat screen TV. Somebody's gonna feed their kids some Gucci shoes or an Yves Saint Laurent bag, or they're gonna feed them a whole bunch of clothes or electronics or whatever all else they're stealing.
All those products have nothing to do with George Floyd either.
No, the looting does not. None of this, because those cops were already arrested. So none of this matters.
And they say because of the rioting, they got arrested. The cops got arrested because of the citizens started rioting.
No, they got arrested because of what they did, not because
Yeah,
of the rioting.
And it takes time to go through legal procedures.
If it makes them feel better to tell themselves it's because we were rioting, yay! So why don't they stop rioting?
Because we like destroying things.
Yeah, they like to break things. This offends me. Take it down. This statue offends me. I was reading another post the other day. How it's an old one about how Democrats and a lot of these left-wing nutbags can't just walk away from something. They can't just ignore it and let it go. No, they have to get rid of it. It can't be here because I might run into it again and get triggered. I'll get triggers. Only I don't use mine. None of that makes any sense. To have to remove things or cancel things or get rid of things because they're again. Well, then stay away from it. You know where it is. You know what it is. Stay away from it. But no, they have to remove it. They have to get rid of it.
Just so they feel like they can accomplish something.
Yes, because no one else is going to feel the same way they did. Well, who's going to guarantee that they felt the same way you did? Nobody.
The statue didn't matter before Charlottesville, and they didn't matter before the murder of George Floyd.
No, they did not. No, they did not.
And I bet they can't even name the statues they tore down.
No, all they can say is,
looking at them up.
All they can say is, he owned slaves.
Donald Trump in 2017, right after. Donald Trump in 2017, right after Charlottesville, he asked, how far is this going to go? And then he asked, do you like George Washington? He was a slave owner. Do you like Thomas Jefferson? He was a slave owner. And then he was ridiculed, but look what happened now.
Look what happened now.
Yeah, they vandalized the Lincoln statue, and they said they wanted to tear down the Jefferson statues.
Yeah, no doubt. They want to completely erase history. They don't think history started until the first slave set foot on this country. The whole 1619 thing. It's like,
Yes.
no. The history of this country started when the first pilgrim set foot on this country. And let's see. What year was that?
1492? Or no, the Pilgrim Puritans, 1600s.
Early 1600s.
Yeah. Simon Bradstreet, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see. They weren't slaves. They started building this country. They're the ones who started building it up. They wanted freedom. They wanted religious freedom. So they began to build their own country. A whole bunch of English white folk started building this country. Now, I am not a white supremacist. Do not call me that. I am not a racist. Do not call me that. Yes, I judge people. I judge them on their merit, on their heart, and on their mind. Your skin color doesn't matter. If you're an idiot, I think you're an idiot. I don't think everybody who looks like you is an idiot, just you.
Individuality.
Yes, one person's merits or lack of. That's how I feel about it. And it's, you can say, oh, well, the colorblind. Well, yeah, that's how I deal with people, on an individual merit basis. I don't take people as groups unless you're part of these rioters. Unless you're one of these rioters, one of these looters, one of these little Antifas.
Yes.
That makes no sense. It's a lost cause.
Very.
All of them are a lost cause. And the thing is, this is the upcoming generation.
Scary.
And it breaks my heart that these are the loudest voices out there. There's too many in the silent majority. And it's time we got up and started talking.
Yes.
And started screaming.
Screaming back.
Telling them, we're sick of this. What was that? Oh, what was that line? Oh. The line from Network. Everybody's screaming out their windows. Oh. I can't remember it, but I'll probably remember it in about 2 hours.
Oh, I thought you were doing that for effect, saying
no,
I
know.
Why I didn't talk.
Literally, I can't remember it.
Oh. Because I thought you were gonna follow it with something like an important message they said.
Well, if I could remember what the line was.
Well, in the meantime, one argument that I never heard being brought up. I don't know how to phrase it. It's just one argument that I heard from the left after the statues were torn down is history isn't being erased because you still have history books.
Well, yeah, but how many of these people are reading it?
None.
None of them. They're not reading it. They're not following anything that it said. They don't care. They don't want to listen. They don't want to care. It's just what's going on right here, right now.
Just want to follow the trend of tearing down statues.
Yeah. It's whatever is trendy. Whatever's the newest thing to do. Let's go do that.
They even advise, they even advise that Black Lives Matter is not a trend and it shouldn't be treated as such. Yet a lot of people, um, I want to say subconsciously, do see it as that.
Um,
Like they see it, but they just don't want to admit it.
they seem to just scream it when it suits them, but they're not using it in the way it should be. Don't just throw it into white people's face. Throw it in your own faces. Throw it in the face of every single one of you out there holding a gun. Holding a gun and pointing it at a family member or at somebody whose skin color is the same as yours. What, just because somebody looked at you funny, you're going to shoot, you're going to kill them? Throw that in the face of every drug dealer. Make them put down their guns. Don't take away the guns from everybody else until you're willing to drop your own. Because it's ridiculous. It's like I keep saying, it's ridiculous. People don't listen to themselves. They speak whatever is touted at them, whatever they're told to speak. And that's all they know. They don't understand what it is they're saying.
Yeah, as much as they say, words have a lot of meaning. In some cases, they don't understand that the words that they say themselves also carry a lot of meaning.
Yeah, that's true. The words, but if you just spout out a whole lot of words without
Context?
oh,
Oh,
I'm not going to go context, but without conviction,
understanding why.
without any conviction, that's the whole thing. If you have no conviction behind your words, then don't say it. Don't tell me I have to if you won't.
Right.
That's like somebody telling me don't cross against the red light. And then they go ahead and do it themselves. Do as I say, not as I do is a sucky way to do things. It really is. And I got that quote. I'm as mad as from Network. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Ah.
That's what the whole thing is. Because there's a lot of, I saw a video of a young girl and she was talking her mind, and I'm like, yep, it's time the silent majority got off their asses and started talking. We will no longer be silent.
Right. I'm gonna step out for a few minutes. I'll be right back though. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna cut this here.
Right.
I think I've let enough air into this one. And I shall return next week. I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about, but I'll be talking about something. And just take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay alive. That's a good thing to do.
Yes.
And I will be back next week at this time, 2:00 Eastern time. I'm not sure what my topic will be. I'm not sure if I will be here with someone or without someone. But take care of yourselves. And I am Tartan Rose. This is my plaid pad and my Saturday session. You be you. I'll be me. It's just easier that way. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. And I will see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Oh, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure.